Said Haynes, and I'm excited to have a conversation with two activists and entrepreneurs, CEO and co-founder of Your Green Package of Massachusetts, Chris Fevry, and Dari Pollo, co-founder and chief of staff. Chris and Dari, thank you for being with us today, and I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yes.
So to begin, tell us a little bit about yourselves and your journey into the cannabis industry. And why don't we start with Dari, ladies first.
All right. Yeah. What was it about last year? We actually went off to California and we actually went to the OG Cannabis Cafe, which was an amazing experience. And we wanted to bring that back here in Massachusetts. So we're like, okay, let's do this. So we got back here and realized that we couldn't do it because the regulations weren't in place just yet. So we started looking into the industry and we stumbled on delivery pandemic. So it was the perfect timing to bring delivery to people's home to still, get their products, whatever they were looking for. So we started going down that route of just doing research and figuring out how we can actually get into the industry and do delivery. And now about a year later, here we are just, we just got our license. We're excited. We're just very excited to be here and doing this and having the opportunity to be a part of the industry.
That's awesome. Awesome. And Chris, what about your story?
Chris, Dari's business partner and fiance. I guess, I graduated from Bentley University in 2016. I had been trying to get into the cannabis space for a while or figure out how to get in. And so when me and Dari went to, like she said, to LA, the OG Cannabis Cafe was just such an amazing experience. We were like, we have to bring this to Massachusetts. Right. And so when that wasn't available, we were like, okay, well, what do we do now? And when COVID hit, I was out of a job. And so, it was in between games of Call of Duty. I was doing research in the cannabis space and Dari was doing research. And, I remember I came across delivery and we talked about it. And actually Dari was brushing her teeth. And I went over to her and I was like, babe, what do you think about delivery? How hard could it be? And then, this is 12 months later, now we're here. And so we're really excited to be part of the industry. Dari got into the social equity program. We're in the process of hiring 22 drivers. Actually, today we have 19 offers accepted, 20?
Yeah, 20.
20 offers accepted. We're largest cannabis delivery fleet on the Northeast. And so it's been a fun ride. And, we want to do things beyond delivery. But for us, delivery is the first step. And, obviously said, the stuff that was MCAD and all that stuff. It's been a ride. So we're just happy to be here.
Yeah.
For sure. A ride to say the least. And, congratulations. You guys have done something that not a lot of people who look like us are able to do in this industry. 5 days in, you're creating jobs for your community. I love it. Congratulations. You mentioned that Dari is a part of the state's social equity program. Dari, could you, for anybody who doesn't know, social equity programs are created and intended to give individuals who were disproportionately impacted by the war on drugs opportunities to participate in the state or localities forming cannabis marketplaces. So Dari, could you just tell us a little bit about the program itself and your experience with it?
Yeah, the program is designed to really help, those that I want to say that don't believe or have the capacity to actually enter the space. And so far it's just they kind of supply some of
training and support
pretty much to kind of figure out putting us out there and also prioritizing our applications as well at the CCC level. So they've just been very, very helpful, just being able to put those that actually do need it and that have been impacted by it in the front of this whole thing. So they've been just amazing, honestly, in the training. As you know, this is a very new industry. A lot of us don't know what to do or how to get in the space. So it was just a very good place to start to kind of give us an understanding on what we need, how to start, how to actually get it done. So.
Cool. Yeah, just to seize on your point there, I would love it if y'all could just talk a little bit to the folks who may not understand exactly what a delivery license is, right? So you guys had the opportunity to go to California, experienced a business model that you then wanted to replicate. But for anybody out there who hasn't had an opportunity to visit one of the legalized states to see a business that they might want to replicate, tell us a little bit about your specific license type and exactly what your business model, how it's intended to fit into the state scheme for a cannabis marketplace.
Yeah, so the license type that we have is the marijuana courier. The marijuana courier is pretty much as it sounds. We bring cannabis from the dispensary to the end consumer, and we do it through partnerships with retailers. And so, right now in Massachusetts, the people who are part of the social equity program, or companies that are part of the social equity program, have a 3-year exclusive access to the delivery and social consumption license class. And so, the way it fits in, to do adult use deliveries in Massachusetts, you have to partner with a marijuana courier, which is owned by a social equity owned company or social equity owned group. And so, we have formed a partnership. One of them with Parallel. So Parallel is one of the larger multi-state operators in the U.S. And so we have a partnership with them where we'll be delivering their cannabis in the greater Boston area and also in the greater Northampton area as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And can you also speak to, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, right? So you have what we know as dispensaries, right? So that's a storefront. And then you have delivery, which is another way to create access for individuals who want to receive cannabis, but either because they cannot actually travel to a business or just out of pure convenience, because that's kind of the world that we live in right now. They choose to use cannabis delivery stores. So could you just talk a little bit? I know you. I've worked with you in the past. I know the things you care about. You have a big heart. I'm so proud of you, man. This is awesome for me to be able to talk to you as a business owner in this context. I know it's really a moment, but just talk to us about what it means to actually be able to provide access to individuals who may be mobility impaired, and just what you see for your business now and what you see for your business in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I think delivery serves, if you look at more developed markets like California, Nevada, Oregon, delivery, depending on, municipality and so on and so forth, represents 15 to 30% of the market. And for Massachusetts, delivery is going to expand the pie, because you do have, those veterans or people who are disabled who don't, they just can't get up and go drive, X amount of miles to the dispensary. And so delivery is going to give them access to get the products that they need, right? For people who feel uncomfortable going to stores and who are concerned about their privacy, delivery gives them that discrete access to what they need. And so we really see delivery really serving those subsets, and also the people who, they don't want to go out. It's raining, it's snowing. I just want, just how people order pizza, people should be able to order cannabis. And so, delivery presents that opportunity in Massachusetts, but really an opportunity, I think, for social equity participants to kind of carve out their own piece of the market. Because if you look at the retail locations, a lot of the cities and towns have given out their host community agreements for retail locations. For the viewers, a host community agreement is pretty much a license or an agreement that you have with a town that allows you to operate in that town. And each town has a limited amount. By state law, it's 20% of the amount of liquor stores that are in that town. And so for sometimes they even actually reduce it even further. And so there's not a lot of opportunities for retail locations. They're difficult, but delivery is something that doesn't put as much strain on the municipality. It's very discreet. You can operate in multiple places. It really just kind of overall gives Black and brown people an opportunity. And so you have the marijuana courier license, which couriers or delivers specifically for the retailers. Then you have the marijuana delivery operator, which is the newer delivery license, which they have access to supply chain and can buy directly from cultivators and product manufacturers. And those are the two delivery licenses that are available today.
Awesome. I follow you. I follow your progress on LinkedIn. I know you are a champion of diversity and inclusion. I want to talk a little bit about your advocacy in a moment, but before then, one of your posts that I really saw and just made me smile was the one you have about how you're creating a team and champion the position that your team needs to be as diverse as it possibly can be. So can you and Dari speak to the team that you surrounded yourselves with? And I know you said you're up to 19 individuals that have accepted offers, but just, why is diversity of the folks who are leading your company and the diversity of your workforce, why is that important to you? And what exactly are you doing to make sure that you're creating the space for diverse individuals?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, I would love to actually speak on that. It's just, as you already know, the war on drugs, a lot of Black and brown communities have been impacted by this for so long. So being able to be in the industry and giving back to the community, being able to employ people from that community just means a lot to us. Being able to be in a position where we're not only just making money, but we're helping families, we're helping people get jobs. And also just kind of, I myself, I have a little sister. So for her to look at me and be like, how did you even get into this? How did you get to, things like that? And being able to turn something that was viewed so negatively in such a positive light means just absolutely everything to us. So having a company that we're able to turn around and look at everybody, seeing people that look like us and people that don't look like us, but able to bring in, different talents, different background to one location just means a lot to us. It just having a company that have a lot of different ideas, a lot of different people, different backgrounds, and being able to connect on one level just means everything to us. So I'm sure you can kind of elaborate a little bit more on that one.
That's I mean, it's a priority for us. Like, one of our core values is diversity, and we want to have a diverse team. I mean, it's statistically proven that diverse teams perform better. And to be honest, it's kind of interesting. Like, when people come into the interviews, they're looking for us to grab someone, because you see me, young Black guy. Then you see Dari. Actually, Dari had natural hair for a little while. Now she has
I had my little short hair going on with a small fro.
Yeah, you got Trent over here. I don't know if you can see her. You got Trent with some dreads, and like, for us, it's, people are like, oh, what's this? But then, once they realize what it is, it's like, a lot of people are instantly very attractive because they never worked on an employer that looks like them or even cares about them. Like, we had one interviewer, the guy came in, he was telling us about, racism in the workplace and all this stuff. And, he leaned over and he said, like, I really want the opportunity to work here. And he was like, because you guys look like me. And I mean, that hit me, because it's like, wow, like, we're at a point where we're really creating opportunities for people. And, like, we have a duty to be successful and do the right thing. And so, yeah, we care a lot.
That's amazing. Picking up on something that you said, Dari, I think a lot of people look at a cannabis business and they either see, okay, there's this opportunity for ownership, to be an owner or a co-founder, or, depending on where you are, terminology might be different, but basically a bud tender. But I know for sure, for you guys to get to the place that you've gotten to where you actually hold a license, you had to build a team and leadership that includes, the co-founder, CEO. It includes the chief of staff. I know it includes some sort of financial assistance, some sort of accountant. I'm sure you've had lawyers, attorneys look at your paperwork and help you navigate your way through formulating the business. So just for, and it doesn't have just a short list, if you will, of the types of professions that you've had to engage that'll make your business run, so everybody can understand, like, you don't have to do something new and unique to enter the cannabis space. There's a high probability you could be good at what you're already good at, and that in turn is going to provide value for cannabis business. So could you just list some of the different types of professionals that you've had to work with to get to this place that you're at now?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we law firms, and we participate in Lanterns and Incubator program. If we're talking, I mean, accountants. Do you want me to name specific companies or
positions, companies too, but more so for positions. For instance, if I'm an attorney now and I'm looking at the cannabis space, the only way for me to enter is not necessarily being a founder or working, as a bud tender in a dispensary, but the cannabis industry needs good attorneys as well. So just different professional positions that you've encountered that help you to run your day-to-day or to get your license in the first place.
I think one thing is just to for everyone to know is that this is a very new industry. Nobody has been here, especially in Massachusetts, saying that, oh, I've worked in the industry for 20 years. So everything that you've done in a different company can be done here. Except for obviously if we're talking about growing, things like that, then yeah, you may need some sort of skills, to specifically to cannabis. Other than that, everything else you really can transfer it right into the industry. It's very new. There are a lot of rooms for improvements. So I feel like if you're about it, if you want to be in this industry, you can be. You just have to find the right niche that works for you. Me, myself, I went to school for building construction technology at UMass Amherst. I work as a residential real estate agent. Um, Before this, I did a lot of community, like in rental community consulting type of things. Nothing that had to do with the cannabis industry, but it's just you. I think it's just your drive for this, your drive for wanting to work in the cannabis industry, wanting to do something that is very new, a lot of room for errors and improvements. As long as you are up, to the challenge, I think you can maneuver through through the process. You just have to bring in your A game. That's what I'm
Yeah.
seeing so far in the industry. Chris talked to a lot more different people with a lot of different backgrounds on a daily. If you
Yeah,
want
I
to speak
mean,
on that.
you need lawyers. I mean, lawyers, accountants, marketing people, construction people, going from electricians to plumbers to. I mean, this. I think the cannabis industry is one of the newest industries that has developed, internationally. That is wide open for. I mean, you could be Joe Schmo on the street and get into the cannabis space and become, king of your municipality, so to say. It's kind of like the sky's the limit in terms of like what it's all based on kind of what you want to do and how much you believe in yourself and how much you want to work. Like even with the Massachusetts Cannabis Association for Delivery. I mean, the only association that I run was the Association for Latino Professionals for America while, as a student at Bentley, like running an organization to lobby the Cannabis Control Commission. I mean, I had no intention of doing it at first, but it was something that we did because it was the right thing to do at the time, and we wanted to help people. But if you look at my resume, I wouldn't be the person you would pick to be president because I wasn't president before. I didn't have all the perfect credentials. So you can be whoever you want to be. If you want to be the CEO of a multi-state operator, you can go be a CEO of a multi-state operator. No one's stopping you, right? And so I think that's what I think the unique thing that the cannabis industry has. To be honest, it comes down to being able to read, and have conversations with people. Because even when we joined in the pandemic, we didn't have cannabis connection.
We're Zoom calling everyone.
Yeah, like I'm on LinkedIn. Connect. Hi, I'm Chris. Like and here we are.
Until this day, there are a lot of people in this space that we have never met in person. The thing is just, I think it just comes down to how much do you want to do this? How much work are you willing to put in? So it doesn't really matter what your background is. It's whatever it is. This is a very open industry that just doesn't have the experience yet to say, no, you're not qualified. It's everybody, come on in.
I love that. Let's lock in a little bit and take a couple steps back. So I had the pleasure of meeting Chris. Our worlds came together due to some issues related to delivery licensing in Massachusetts. So I know we talked a little bit about y'all's advocacy in the space, but one really, really important thing that we all must learn to do and participate in are, our various states and cities and counties and even the federal government's legislative processes, right? So you just said you found yourself in a place where you're leading this organization, lobbying the commission, trying to see the changes that you wanted to see. For anybody else out there who's trying to actively get involved and advocate for themselves and folks who are similarly situated to them, just tell us a little bit about your advocacy experience as it relates to the positive changes you were able to make in Massachusetts, and just any advice you would give to somebody who's trying to basically let their voice be heard in terms of how the cannabis rules in their marketplace are taking shape, or otherwise?
Yeah, I mean, really, my most recent advocacy efforts really focus around, my work with MCAD. And so MCAD as a group, lobbied the Cannabis Control Commission to create the delivery operator license. We held, multiple petitions. I mean, we partnered with Weed Maps to launch one petition. We got like 250 signatures in about, 24 to 48 hours. And really, a lot of the, effort was around gathering people and bringing them together. I think, I've seen this in a lot of places, but, Black and brown people are divided in some cases. And, there's, especially in Massachusetts, there's a lot of different groups and a lot of different voices and a lot of things going on. And if you don't have an organizational focus to advocacy efforts, then you don't produce any result, and things need to be organized. And so I like organizing things, and MCAD kind of came to be. It was actually the co-founder of Lantern and Commissioner Title, whose encouragement was like, people really need this. That kind of led to me calling a few friends and said, hey, like let's put this together. Anyone looking to get involved, I would say follow people. Follow M4MM, follow Elevate, follow the Minority Cannabis Association, follow these groups, because they'll post and they'll say like, come help, come out, and just show up, because you'll learn something, but you also meet a lot of people. And then you just keep going, and there's a lot of opportunities to speak. And I think people, the voices need to be heard. People need to kind of be out there on the battlefield. And so if advocacy is something you're very passionate about, that would be kind of my recommendation, to like kind of follow these groups and contact them to see how to get involved.
Awesome. So I want to talk about the industry and the demographic composition of the industry. Speaking back to what you both said earlier about, personally, your tenacity, your drive, your ambition to be where you are now is what got you to where you are. And I believe what you're saying is, if you have that same drive, then the sky is the limit to what you can be. But the unfortunate reality of cannabis markets in respective states across the United States is that less than 3%, some say 2% now, 2-3% of business owners and holders look like us. So very, very, very disparate and not diverse. The truth is, it's just not a lot of people who look like us who have been able to achieve a license. So what you've been able to accomplish is extremely significant, and frankly and unfortunately, it's also extremely rare, right? So what advice would you give people who are trying to get into the cannabis industry, who look like you and who want, who are aspiring to be a license holder, to be a cannabis business owner? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, I would say go look in the mirror and ask yourself, is this something you really want to do? And if it's something you really want to do, go to sleep, wake up, go look in the mirror again, and ask yourself if this is something you really do. And if it is something that you really want to do, I would, set goals about doing, like, accomplishing what you need to accomplish. And if you don't know what you need to accomplish, go talk to someone that has accomplished what you accomplished. And you have to find a way to build a path so that you can kind of see it and have that roadmap to get there. And that would really be kind of one of my recommendations, is really talk to people who are in the industry that have more experience than you. And don't like a closed mindset where a lot of people say, well, I can't talk about my idea because someone's gonna take it. And it's like, look, there's other retailers out there, and they probably have the similar ideas to you. So you might as well go learn from them. Because if you don't talk to anybody, you're just gonna be a person that doesn't know anything. And to be honest, do a lot of Googling too, because you'll be surprised how many of these like co-founders and CEOs have talked on podcasts, have had these interviews, and they drop like golden nugget of information. And each step of the process takes a different level of skill. And so you always have to continuously be trying to learn and kind of reinvent yourself so that you can figure out a way through the process. And so if that's, again, if this is something you want to do and you start doing these things hard, look at yourself in the mirror and say, is this something I want to do? Because also being an entrepreneur is not for everyone. I think some of the misconceptions about the cannabis space, like we're going to open a business, and because we open a business and it's cannabis or weed, we're going to print money.
I think also just kind of something you said, just realizing this is something that you want to do and keeping a very open mind. Oftentimes people think that because they Google a thing or two, or because they talk to one person, they know everything that needs to be known about the space. You don't. None of us really know everything that needs to know about the space right now. I feel like, and especially with the cannabis industry, it is changing every single day. Regulations are being, fine-tuned every day, every public hearing. There's a lot that actually happen. So you can't be closed-minded about it, be able to take in whatever people have to say. There are a lot of people that are in this space that have actually been successful and they are still learning. So if they're still learning, if you don't know anything just yet, be open-minded, learn. Don't, like Chris said, if you have an idea, I guarantee you about 3-4 people already have that idea. Speak to someone. Everybody's not like, oh, you had a great idea, I'm gonna take it. No, some people like to help. Find those that do want to help people that are in this space and just write it. We're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. The thing is, don't be afraid to fail and just actually do it. Make the mistakes, talk to people, listen to podcasts, news. You'll find your way through it. You just have to not be scared and actually want to do this.
And also don't be afraid to copy people. Like, to be honest, the town that we're in, another licensee got their provisional license in the same exact town. And I called him, I said, hey, like, is your town open to more host community agreements? He said, yeah, I got mine in a few weeks. I said, really? Mind you, and Dari can attest to this, we've been working with one town for like 4 or 5 months, trying to get a host community agreement.
Yeah.
Struggle to get this host community agreement. And we actually ended up getting it probably like a month before we got our final license. So we ended up finding a new town because of that conversation, got a host community agreement, and actually got our provisional license and almost got to our final license by the time we got the host community agreement from the original town we're talking to. And so don't be afraid to copy people. Someone's doing it better than you and they're open to sharing.
And yeah, I get it. We all like to make plans and stick to it, but sometimes the plans are not, they're not fit to the situation that is actually happening. So being able to adapt very quickly is I think it's just key to this industry.
Speaking of plans and speaking of printing money, which I heard you say, Chris, the license itself may not necessarily mean or equate to automatic success for you, right? Even though every time you turn on the news, you hear about the billions and billions of dollars, how big the industry is growing. The truth is you still have to run a business, right? So I don't want you to give away too much of your secret sauce on how you plan to distinguish yourself in the space that you're in. But how do you feel about that? Now that you got the license, that license itself is not the gold star, right? It's just a part of the checklist. So now you have these other things in your checklist. So what are you thinking about in terms of how you're going to conduct business and how you're going to separate yourself to be successful?
Yeah. So ultimately, so for us, one of the things that I think is important for us to be successful is having a great team and having a team that, at least, for us as a team, when we say, hey, we're going to do this at this date, at this time, we do this at that date, at that time. That's just it. Everyone has experienced people in life who have said, I'm going to do this, and they never do it, or they take, a week. For us, everything's a priority. We're running at 100 miles per hour. And I think that's something that differentiates us, because people who partner with us, they feel it, right? And they feel like, okay, we're partnering with a group that's very serious. So that's kind of one way we're going to be differentiating ourselves. But two, I think we're marijuana couriers, so we get our orders from the retailers. And so it's very important that we choose retailers that, one, can provide us enough orders to sustain ourselves, but two, are open to making very fair and equitable agreements. We've been, lucky enough to, get in touch with Netta, and Netta is one of the largest dispensaries in Massachusetts, and they've been very open to crafting a fair delivery agreement. And so with that agreement in hand, that is a competitive advantage. that's going to allow us to differentiate ourselves in the marketplace. You know, for us, you know, one delivery company versus the next, you know, one might have on demand, one might have next day. I mean, we're going to be differentiating ourselves on those levels as well, but ultimately it's going to come down to like the team and providing like a high quality service, which is really our goal.
And also, the work doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Once you get that license, it doesn't mean that you stop. It just means you're just to me, it just means you're just getting started.
Awesome. Chris, Dari, I am so very much looking forward to what is next from y'all and following your updates. For anybody out there who does not follow y'all, can you tell them where to reach you on socials?
Yeah, so you can follow us at www.yourgreenpackage.com, and you can follow us on Instagram at yourgreenpackage_. Your Green Package spelled YOUR, you know, PACKAGE.
Mr. Green.
Oh, Mr. Green. YOURGREENPACKGE_.
Awesome, awesome. I enjoyed this conversation. Appreciate both of you so much for your time and looking forward to seeing what's next for you all.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you so
Cedric.
much for having us.